Hey guys, today we have a little project. So I just got a new bike that was used, and the right Di2 shifter is a little mushy. So I don't know if you can hear that. So that's the first click, and then it does a second click. So it kind of has like a 2-click issue. So we're gonna try and fix that today. So if you can see that's just the lever, I took it out. But what we're gonna try and do is, I got oil all over me. We're gonna open this guy, the click assembly, or the button assembly, and there should be 3 springs in there. So we're just gonna check and see how those are doing. The bike that I bought was crashed. The frame itself is okay, so I can use that, and there's no signs of damage, but the brunt of the damage was taken by this right shifter, which you can see some scratches. But still, it was a Dura-Ace build, which was relatively cheap for the components you get. I just want to make sure that this is in working order. It shifts fine. I already tested it out. It just the click itself is weird when you press it. But yeah, stay tuned, and we'll start to open this now. Alright, looks like we need a very small Torx. Luckily I have these tools I use for my computer, which does have all these small little bits. There we go. Sorry, it's actually T5, Torx 5. I was using a star initially, so that was wrong. So there's one screw. There's only 2 screws holding this assembly down. Make sure you press down with your finger, because there are springs in there and it's gonna just pop up if you don't hold the pressure down. And it's coming apart. Okay. Interesting. If I can pull this out, so there is. Alright, let's see what we have here. We have a long spring. We have a body. And then we have another spring in there that didn't come out. I think that's the one that's problematic, because as you can see, here is one that stayed attached to the top. That's a button. That's a button. So looks like this guy here probably, and if I'm willing to bet, that's the one that I need. Oh no, that's actually the one that was working, the downshift. So it looks like the downshift stayed attached to the bottom, which was fine. So maybe the upshift just moved. Okay, so we got it all out. So we have 2 little springs. These springs attached to the buttons themselves. So these are the ones that push the buttons back once you click. And this pushes the whole lever body, or the whole, or I guess it's keeping both of the switches, these guys, back. Okay, so now you can see how this just moves and doesn't actually come back. So I think the big one pushes them both back and keeps them in place, and the small ones push individual buttons back to their original position. So now if I'm moving, this is interesting. So now so what I thought initially was that this upshift, right, the bigger one. That's the one that I'm having issues with. Initially I thought that this was just not, you know, it kind of got gunked up with something, but doesn't appear to be the case because it moves very cleanly up and down here. So then it definitely was the actual spring mechanism that was not working correctly. Alright, we are back. We're gonna finish this now. I took out the springs. I tried to clean them up as best as I could. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of grease to them. Shimano references a high quality grease. I don't know if what I have is high quality, but you know, grease is grease to me. That should be good with this one. Now it's sticky. And we should be good on this one as well. Alright. And the big one just to be for good measure. Probably should be wearing gloves for this. But here I'm just giving it a bit of a grease, making sure it's covered. Which is pretty good in case, you know, I do sweat a lot on these. Or will be sweating a lot on these, so there we go. Alright, so to finish reinstalling this is first we put the setting plate. This guy comes in kind of in between. You slide it in and it just kind of sits there. Can't really move left and right. Then you take your small springs and with the black tip up, you just kind of slide them in to the little raised parts. You can really see them if you have this open. So they're in there now, and then what you do is you take a big spring and then you push that in with the black part down right over this small spring on the bottom right to kind of give you a better angle of that. Alright, and now what we do is we do our best to push this plate with the buttons over and down straight. So this is the hardest part because this big spring likes to move. Now when you have it down and you think it's in place, you press both of the buttons up. And what that does, and you squeeze as hard as you can, and then you release. And so what that does is it allows the little, to remember the little black tips to slide into the button and stay secured. And then you just tighten this. Make sure to not over tighten these. It says 0.1 Newton meters because they are very easy to strip, which is unfortunate because I think I might have stripped my bottom one. But it's a very hard click. But yeah, that's better than it was, for sure. There's no double click. Oh, I need to push this guy back in. the wire. This might be the problem, really. Yep, there we go. See that? That is 10 times better. Yep, so the buttons are now back to working order. So what I really think it is the that big spring, the biggest one, is the one that is a little dead, not dead, but a little overdone on this lever. So might need to be replaced at some point. But yeah, that's how you fix your double click, or at least maintain your springs. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.